Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday night bull ring with me, TRprepper. I'm having a hard time getting together a panel, and there wasn't no use of waiting around for people to show up. So I just thought I'd start it off with me, and we'll go with it. Y'all pick the topics, and I'll talk about it. Rosie said she'd be here, so we'll see. She may join in later on. Had a few people said that they couldn't be here, so for right now, you got my little ugly mug to look at. So anyway, what's going on, everybody? I will do a little rundown right quick. Oh, there's Rosie.
Hey, TR.
Live, Rosie.
Oh, okay. Good thing I got my clothes on. Hi, everyone.
Well, thanks for joining in. I know you didn't send me a text saying you wasn't going to be here, so I figured you'd join in eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. You know that. Can you hear me okay? Or
yeah,
like feedback?
Volume. It was a little bit low. There you go.
Okay, great. There we go. So, I always try to make it. I think I've only missed 4 in a year and a half, so that's pretty good, right?
Well, I'll let you do an intro if you'd like to, Rosie. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Hi, just wanted to say hi to everybody, and what a pleasure to have TR all to myself on the panel tonight. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday Season to all of you. I feel like something out of a Dr. Zhivago novel with this hat on, like I'm ready for the Russian winter or something, something like that. But I'm really happy to be here with all of you, and as you can see, it is Christmas time here, and both Jen and I really enjoy doing it up for Christmas. And tomorrow we get to do one of the things that really brings us a lot of joy, and a lot of people ask me this time of year, how do you get the Christmas spirit? Society is so fast-paced and so crazy, and it seems like the thoughts that we spare for others are sort of fleeting, and we just barely have time for anything. But I can tell you what I always do that really boosts it up to a great level. Jen and I like to go shopping at it's like a Walmart or something like that. And we like to buy a lot of toys and throw them in the basket, and then take them over to the Toys for Tots Depot or one of the other family shelters or something like that, and drop off some toys for needy kids. And I'll tell you, the feeling that you get is just amazing on that. And you have such joy because you'll never see it, but in your mind when Christmas comes that some child somewhere is going to have a really big smile on his or her face. So just something to consider if you want to get into the spirit a little bit for Christmas time. I just find doing for other people really puts me into the spirit. Now it's getting onto the economy. It's been really interesting. We didn't really get into it last week. I think we had Dave on last week, didn't we, TR? So we just jumped right into the heavy duty capitalism versus robotics and the information and moving towards singularity. So we kind of backtrack tonight and make up a little ground, because it's been an incredible time since Trump was elected. It's been a little over a month since Election Day, and he's putting his cabinet together. And that market has just been on steroids here, moving up and up and up and up and up. And it's been fascinating to see. And there's other things going on too, and we'll get to them in 1 minute. Hello, Pops, nice to see you. And we'll get to that. And but I just think it's fascinating. And one of the concerns I have is when you have a president that comes in on a very high sort of riding market like we have now, we're very close to the 20,000 level on the stock market here. I think we're less than about 100 points away or so from Dow 20,000. You always have that risk that right around the time the new president takes the oath of office, kaboom, you have this change of direction. And just as rapidly as things went up, things could be in the shitter, so to speak, again. And I mean that in a sincere way, because when you think about the way FDR came into office in 1933, after the election, when banks were failing and things were going bad, there was really nowhere else to go but up at that time. So Franklin Roosevelt became one of the most beloved presidents in U.S. history, because he got credited with, pulling us out of the Depression, with all the pump priming and all the Keynesian economics that started in big time. So he got to ride that whole sort of wave up from 1933 to, well, when he passed away in 1945. We have kind of the opposite thing now, where we're looking at a market here that's basically rallied since 1932, since that low, in 5 very large, enormous waves over that period of time. And particularly since 2008, when we bottomed down here, we've basically gone up like 120, 130% in the market here. So Trump is coming in and sort of the mirror opposite of that, where things are looking like they're starting to turn really good here for the economy, potentially. So I'm a little concerned about the way he's coming into office riding high, because I've seen these things before when the reality takes hold, and then all of a sudden you can get this big reversal, and here we go, we're down and away. So let's keep an eye on that phenomenon. The other thing is that we've gone, I don't know, 2,500 points almost straight up on the Dow since election, the night before election, with that stupidity of the market plunging overnight in anticipation of his victory. So, what are the risks now? And the risks to me seem like they're pretty high. It just seems to me like we're out racing reality a little bit here, and it's just a time to be uber cautious. Although I've certainly trimmed down the positions a lot. I recommended Camping World about a month ago, and for any of you that and I did have some people contact me, TR, that did buy some shares in Camping World. That's already gone up about 50% in 1 month. So you've made a real good return on that, and I've trimmed some of that position away for those of you who care, that are into camping and RVing. It was really a great short-term play. But it's a time to be cautious. We've got we've got interest rates rising, and Linda Francine says, yes, some big players might take profit, but there's a good chance some big players will buy stocks on dips. They absolutely will. This is what I'm saying. That I've gone back and forth with this thesis over the last 3 years or so, that, well, the only thing that'll stop this market is rising interest rates, and, well, no, we've got a different change of presidency and stuff like that. But I'm now swinging around to sort of that original thesis that's saying, hey, we could have a runaway market here before the Fed pops the bubble. We could have the ultimate bubble growing here. And we're witnessing that on a daily basis. People are scratching their heads like, wow, we haven't seen this in a while. This is a real Santa rally. And everybody's making money, right, in this thing. So you just want to be, what I call half-seas. You want to kind of be half in it and half out. So just in case this thing does some huge reversal or something, you won't be caught with your pants down. Now, it's interesting to see that, and TR, I know you follow the politics side of things, that Trump is putting his cabinet together right now. And it almost looks like, the Fortune 100 is coming into place around him, with the latest announcement that the Secretary of State was going to be Rex Tillerson, who's the chairman of Exxon Mobil, the largest oil company in the world. And it's very interesting. And the people that he's appointing into his cabinet, all the Goldman Sachs advisors, potential Treasury people. And I think it's fascinating, because we're probably going to see the first cabinet that has no experience in politics in the history of our country. In other words, they don't come from a background of being career diplomats and having served in the State Department, or they haven't been big campaign mucks and big donors that get appointed ambassador to France and England and things like that as a reward for that. So it's interesting to see what's coming together here. I mean, I'm looking at a president-elect that's basically taken the rule book and thrown it out the window of the way that government is going to be run under his administration. And I think it's fascinating because you see some of these talking heads that worked under Condoleezza Rice, and some of the people in there, they're like, oh, they're freaking out. Oh my God, we got people that are going to be appointed to the State Department that have no political experience. You know, the chairman of ExxonMobil's a Putin ass kisser, and you know, he should make Putin bow down and kiss his ass, our Secretary of State. And I'm thinking to myself, no. What's wrong with having a president that likes to try to get along with and try to communicate and talk to people in the world? So it's kind of a different thing. People were like, oh, woe is me that Hillary's not going to be, she would have been tough on Putin and blah, 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 and Trump's going to give him a pass. And no, I think Trump's going to give some respect where it's deserved and probably come in all the better for that. So I think it's fascinating to see this cabinet that he's putting together that has absolutely zero political connections at all, because they come in not owing any favors to anybody, and they actually might get something done. I was listening to Mitch McConnell, the Senate, the majority leader, talking about the first thing they want to do when they come in January is get rid of Obamacare. But you know, they kind of put that in the frosting, and we'll have something better than Obamacare, which makes me kind of nervous a little bit on that score. So just be cautious. Interest rates will rise. Yeah. And Linda says, my thought too, Rosie, Trump will likely demand respect for this country. Yeah, but to get respect, you've got to give respect too. And I find a lot of times that the default position of the State Department is to just consistently be at odds with a country like Russia, instead of trying to sit down and say, you know, what's your beef? What do you guys want? How do you see the world shaping up? And trying to piece together some kind of workable, better relationships around the world. The other thing that's chilling, though, is the way that Trump looked at Boeing when they talked about the Air Force One contract for $4 billion and said, you know, cut the hell out of that thing. That's a waste of money. And, you know, all the putting pressure, you know, he's going to call out for the first time in history. We're going to have a president just calling out companies from the podium and stuff, and wanting to set taxation up and things so that money comes back to this country. So in a lot of ways, to me, it's a big wild card right now. I'm not as excited on the economic side as I am on the political side, just precisely because it's going to be a tough adjustment for a lot of people under this president that are used to politics being a leader instead of business. This is going to be a leading edge of business in this administration for probably the first time since, well, the 1920s under Hoover. So we'll see.
So do you think Trump getting elected has been good or bad for the economy? Right now, in my little peanut head, it seems to be good for the economy, but that could be a false thing. I don't know. You have more experience.
This is my feeling. I've been to a few of these rodeos, and I've seen a few of these things over time when, you know, the market rally. You know, you were expecting Trump to win. I wasn't expecting Trump to win. Okay, you had the after party, you know, my candidate burned up in smoke, Gary Johnson and all that stuff. But what I'm saying is, you know, who most people, I think, thought that Hillary would win if you were to believe the polls, the various polls. And I think Wall Street believed that too, TR. So it was a big adjustment in a lot of ways that a lot of people were probably, the wrong way on the market when all this stuff came about. So they had to adjust their positions. And you have to be careful this didn't drive this. This could end up being like the final up spike of this whole deal. We have to be very, 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 very careful. And like the Saint said, the free market, not Trump, should be picking the winners and losers. Exactly. I mean, see, Trump has a lot of populist democratic values too, and it's some things he's very economically conservative, and other things he's very socialist populist. So it's kind of everybody's trying to get a handle on that. So TR, I don't know if it's good or bad right now, to tell you the truth. That's my honest answer. I'm going to tell you, I don't know whether it's good or bad. Do you hate me for that? I mean, I don't know whether it's good or bad, to tell you the truth.
Okay, no, that's an honest answer. I mean, you know more about it than I do.
I don't know what Pops feels like.
I mean, it seemed to be good, but at the same time, when it jumped so high, so fast, it almost made me worry more that it jumped so fast.
Yeah, what do you think, Pops?
Well, I can always give you my point of view from a small business owner. And I always feel like I can't add a whole lot in these political discussions because I don't really pay a whole lot of attention. But I do know that Trump's going to try to reduce the corporate tax rate from the highest in the friggin' world to the lowest. And for me, that means growth for businesses. There's a fine line. See, businesses they have a way of fluxing back and forth with political decisions. And so when Obama comes and says he's going to tax the crap out of you, we all put on the brakes. We make enough money to supply our families, but we don't grow. We don't think of beautiful economic times, and we just kind of go into survival mode and just kind of like waiting for a better time or things to come crashing down. So I'm the most excited about Trump as a businessman from a business owner's point of view, and the tax rate, bringing those companies back. Now, what you said about the stock market, I always have an opinion on the stock market, and that's that it's way, way overinflated, but that just comes from a gut instinct of a guy that doesn't want to be part of the market. So I really have no opinion on that. But and as far as politics, there's so much going on right now. I keep hearing all these stories. I'm not on Facebook. I don't watch the news, and I still hear all these stories about Russia and China and all this other crap. Electoral college. The way I see it is we'll find out in a few days, and then we'll get moving forward. Hopefully, I mean, what else is there to do? The market, I don't know. I think I've always thought the market's kind of garbage for the last 10 years. I don't have no faith in the market. I don't have faith in the market that it's a true market. That's all.
Well, we've all had quantitative easing 1, quantitative easing 2, quantitative easing 3, and probably a quantitative easing 4. Of course, we've tripled the money supply over the last 10 years or whatever. So naturally, things like stock being the most liquid things have gone up. It doesn't mean the true value is there. We've inflated what's called the price earnings ratio on that. It's just a question, are we setting ourselves up for some massive failure when we don't have a follow through on growth and profit here? My concern is when I look at Trump, it's like every day he's doing something that's never been done before in this country. Tweeting out, using Twitter to get tweets out there, and appointing what's arguably a very conservative cabinet here that's going to put business first and foremost, and probably not even hidden in a soft velvet glove. It's just going to be business rules and everything else sort of follows. It's So I'm wondering if we're setting ourselves up for some ugly potential capitalism in the future where, you know, you have these so-called real brainy people that get appointed, and they get perceived as the people that are leading us down, that led us down the path of disaster, similar to Coolidge and Hoover and that crew in the 1920s before the Great Depression with the Roaring '20s and all that so-called go-go era. There's certain stars aligning certain way. I'm just saying, Pops, that are making me kind of, you know, maybe I'm making phony constellations. Maybe I'm just connecting dots in the sky that shouldn't really be connected into a pattern, you know. But I'm seeing things I've never seen in my lifetime before, and it's fascinating on the one hand, and it's a little disconcerting on the other hand.
Yeah, it's interesting. All right, I guess that don't mean it's good. I don't know. I don't have a good. I have a good feeling about the country. I just don't know, you know, about the whole market. I was like, I had a point to make and I forgot. And my wife's laughing at me, so that doesn't help.
They still love you out here, Pops. You know, it's all right. Pops,
Yeah,
I was just going to say, you look at now, and because interest rates are rising in this country, we have bond yields and treasury note yields and short-term note yields that are now rising. So again, I hasten to say, and I've said so in the last 3 months, if you've got interest rate sensitive stuff, get it the hell out of the way of the market, because interest rates are going to be rising, which is going to be attacking the principal of your coupon, so to speak. But what I'm really driving at here is that because interest rates are rising, we have a dollar that's strengthening as a result of that, and a strong dollar is going to put pressure on our export markets too. I mean, Boeing just lost Trump intervening with this order that Iran ordered like 120 Airbus jets and things, and part of the reasons the U.S. dollar strength was kind of a turnoff and things. So we have to be very aware of the risk of rising interest rates coupled with a strong dollar and the headwinds that creates. I mean, we're already at the 4% mortgage rate now, and it's already being felt on the home market, the home purchasing market. Believe it or not, where that's sensitive, that moving from a 3 to 4% interest rate on a mortgage has cooled that market rather dramatically for writing new paper and stuff. So it makes me think that all these years of these low interest rates have kind of overly sensitized us to any movement in interest rates. So whereas before I might have said it might take a rise to 6 or 7% to create a real market chaos, maybe it only takes a rise to 4% now to do that, because everything is so sensitized now because we've been so low for so long. So, you know, yeah, I don't know why I'm blurry, but
it wasn't the Jimmy Carter interest rate thing. Wasn't he up around 10, 12 or some percent or something?
Pops, I was in 14% money markets in 1978, 1979, 1980. There were 14% mortgages, and it just crushed the economy at that time. Just crushed the living hell out of the economy. And we had that recession of '81, and we had the economic tax recovery act of 1981, because I was in business school at that time and studying the change depreciation schedules that were brought in, the accelerated depreciation and all those kind of things. So, but that was actually the beginning of the long-term 25-year decline, 30-year decline in interest rates, Pops. Now we're at the other end. We're at the other end of that.
Right. What do you think about this 9-year cycle that I hear about? Is there any?
Well, I'm more a believer in what they call the Kondratiev cycle, which was the one that the great Russian economist studied, and as his reward, he was sent to Siberia in the Gulag for what he found out that every 60 or 90 years, the market goes through a crash cycle of communism, but it comes out stronger for it. So I'm more a believer in that, I guess, and I'm more a believer in the very long cycles than the short cycles, because politics can play such a plus a role in dampening those cycles and distorting them in the short run.
Yeah, I guess you're right. The shorter cycles can be manipulated, but the longer ones are hell bent on completing their job. Yeah,
and that probably has to do with the nature of being human beings. We tend to get greedy at the wrong time, and we tend to get scared at the wrong time. So we tend to make the worst moves at the worst times. So, and I don't think human nature ever changes. So that's why we continue to have cycles. Because one generation gets punished, the next generation learns from it, but then the next generation gets punished again. So we have that cycle of relearning that's human nature.
Yeah, they say pigs get fat, but hogs go to slaughter.
Yeah, that's right. Bulls make money, bears make money, but pigs get slaughtered. That's right. So I'm a little concerned, Pop, that we get to these kind of points where we've reached one of these huge turning points that we're now going to lose the interest rates as a driver of the stock market. Something we've enjoyed. That it's like if you're sailing and you have this big trade wind behind you for 30 years, and now all of a sudden in the 30th year and the first day you have this dramatic change that all of a sudden you're tacking into the wind. Doesn't mean that you're not going to make progress, but if you snap a mast or you lose a sail, you're going to go backwards big time. So I guess that's kind of the analogy I would work on that. Yeah, somebody said Buckeye Bryan. I lived in that time, Buckeye Bryan, of high saving rate. Nobody got that rate. There were some high mortgages written at that time, but I remember my folks had a mortgage, a 6% mortgage written in the 1950s, and in the late 70s, the bank was contacting them and offering them bonuses if they would just pay off their mortgage. And they're like, "Are you crazy? There's 14% money out there, and we're going to pay off our 6% mortgage." People never thought they would see 6.5, much less 3.5% mortgages. So it's funny how the worm turns. 30 years, if any of us are still here, it could be a totally different. We could be at the other end of the thing, the other end of the cycle.
In that time when the interest rates were so high, is that when they pushed the variable interest rates so hard?
Yeah, because the theory was they couldn't stay high forever, and they could also give people a low introductory rate and then roll them over into something, hopefully if rates went down. But the reality is that the market came to a screeching halt, TR. It was actually at that time in 1981, it was the worst recession since the Great Depression. It was short, terrible. Chrysler was belly up, and there were all kinds of bad things that were happening at that time.
Yeah, my dad was in real estate then, and he ended up getting out of it because it was just so hard to sell a house with the high interest rates that there were. It was crazy.
Yeah, because I think when when Carter moved out and Reagan came in and Volcker was appointed Federal Reserve Chairman, and I remember very well. And I think he probably went into that meeting and went into the Fed. You know what? He probably said, "I'm sick of this nickel diamond bullshit of raising rates and all. We're just gonna raise rates so high. We're just gonna crush inflation." And actually, all that did was just pop the balloon of rising prices, and we've been enjoying the benefits of that ever since. Now, granted, we've had some spikes in oil, and we're having some mini spikes now while they try to play political games. But we've enjoyed the benefits of that deflation in interest rates for the last 30 years. But I just think now we have to be careful. We're at the other end looking the other way now. So we want to be careful to be very protective of making sure we don't have any money tied up in long-term interest rates and things.
Yeah, if you got a mortgage at 4% or whatnot, you know, money is cheap as it's going to get, I guess. So hold on to that baby as long as you can. You know, they say the phrase, it's cheaper to keep her than to get rid of her. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
you go to, that's why real estate will just completely quit selling, because people want to hold that house just to keep that mortgage, you know?
That's right. And Brew Tank says, oil stocks have shot up. Should I sell? And Rosie, I need answers. It's making me crazy. Think about this. What's driven the rise in oil prices over the last month? It's these countries going crazy that they're having trouble balancing their books and making a go of the economy right now with $50, $40 oil or whatever. Now, history says that they'll be cheating and people will be suspecting that other people are over exporting. The price goes up a little more, and we're right back to production again, where fracking comes in and things like that. I just think any attempt to really move that pricing significantly higher is going to be met with a wave of supply that eventually comes in. And for me, and I've sold the Exxon into this as recently as a couple days ago. So to me, I'm not a big believer in the oil market right now. I think it's being too manipulated by countries and politics, and I don't think there's enough cohesion to make it stick.
Oil has definitely been being manipulated big time by countries. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and therefore it's not a natural market, so it'll be met by forces of supply. So I wouldn't buy silver on eBay, Chris. There's too many. Chris says should buy silver on eBay. There's been too many people that have opened up bars on eBay, and they're actually just lead and some derivatives of steel. It just with a sterling coating electroplated on it. Just I wouldn't buy it. I'd pay a little more and go deal with an AP Max or Johnson Matthey or something like that, or a recognized hallmark. I wouldn't mess around with that stuff. So never buy from I would never buy metals off of eBay. The only metals I'd ever buy, and I've bought them before, is bags of $1,000 face bags back in 2005 and stuff.
Yeah, the junk silver I think is safe because you're not messing with that.
Absolutely, Pops. 100% correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and I use AppMex. I like AppMex because they charge you a little bit more for using credit cards. They're one of the only places that take PayPal, which I can turn, you know, online money into hard assets. So I kind of like that. But anyway,
yeah, you want to you don't want to lose 99% to try to save 1%. You know, I mean, it's that there's so many scammers and there's so much bullshit that happens on. There's just too risky to me. Now I bought an RV on eBay and it worked out just fine for me because I could always leave feedback on something big like that. But I'm just saying for silver and things like that, there's just you know, there's too much gullibility out there. There's too much wanting to cheat the system. AP Max is who I deal with out there.
I'm lucky. I got a local coin dealer that sells junk silver or pure silver, whatever you want, and I trust them. And they're very.
I mean, Pops hit the nail on the head when you have 90% United States dimes, quarters, and half dollars. You can't lose. You know, You cannot lose on that.
And all I have to do is just go in there and say, hey, I want $50 worth or $100 worth, or you know, you just name a dollar figure and say, hey, I want $100 worth of you know, pre-64 quarters. And the guy will pull them out, figure out what the price is that day, and he'll sell them to you for that price. Yeah, I mean, it's very fair. Of course, he's making a profit it, but it don't matter.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. That's what keeps the doors open and keeps them there. You know, you know, a lot of people think you got to drive, you got to ride the margin right down to the nuts, and unfortunately, that's what puts people out of business too. So.
And of course, you can never go wrong with brass, copper, and lead.
Yeah. The well-formed lead.
Yeah, y'all know I'm into that too. Don't get me wrong. The first my progression as a metals buyer was the junk silver. Then it was into like Eagles and like well-known Canadian mints and stuff like that. And I love the Perth mint. But then I started looking at these America the Beautifuls and like these Lunar Series, and I was going back and looking at coins that were 2 or 3 years old, and not only did they obviously hold their silver, you know, their metal value, but they were doubling and tripling in price for the coin. And I'm like, okay, I'm switching gears here, and I started buying three, like, you know, the half ounce, the 2 ounce, and the 1 ounce proof sets and stuff like that. And, you know, several years back, and now if I go and look at what those are selling for now, I mean, the buy price on some of those has just totally made me, even though the silver value has come down.
Well, Pops, the same things happened to me in, of course, I worked in China for a lot of years, so I've always been a very early collector of the Panda series out of China. And that stuff just went batshit crazy through the roof. And putting that stuff aside for years, and that stuff, the mintages were so low in the early years when China was still struggling. And man, that stuff is, you talk about up in value, that stuff's up by a factor of 10 and 20 times in value because it was so scarce, and the pool of demand is so high out of China now to be involved in their own productive things, that the mintage is so low you can't go back and restrike them again. So it's yeah, I hear what you say. There's some things that far exceed any intrinsic value of the metals on that.
Yeah, I'm just a big I don't know. Thinking in the prepper mindset, the shit hit the fan situation. I think the so-called junk silver, the pre-64 coins and stuff like that, I just think they hold their value better. As a collector standpoint, you can get into some different things and what have you, but I would rather just have something that everybody knows is silver, get it at a good price, it'll hold its value, whatever it is, and you'll come out in the end probably a lot better.
Yeah, it's the ultimate prepper. It's the ultimate prepper. You know, if you're going to put a prepper face on it, that's your ultimate prepper metal. If you want to put metals aside, yeah, because the downside is limited to the intrinsic value of the metal itself. So.
I think one of the biggest mistakes people make with metals is using money that they may need in the short term, because that market is so volatile. However, over time, I think it'll make you happy. But you know, if you're just getting into it and you might have to get out of the whole metals game in the next few years, it's not the game for you. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not a big, you know, precious metals buyer other than ammunition. I only have a few $100s worth of silver, but the silver I have is old quarters and dimes and stuff like that. Now, I need to buy more, don't get me wrong, but I find myself, I'm like, do I need to buy $100 worth of silver quarters or $100 worth of ammo? And I tend to lean toward the ammo every time. I don't know what it is. I just go to the ammo. Right or wrong or indifferent. That's just the way I do it. It's like I got a few chickens, so I'm going to eat. Fuck it, I need ammo to defend the chickens.
Well, ammo has several purposes. That's why I always lean that direction, obviously. But you know, a good
Well, I
mix
mean,
is fine. You know, I mean,
it's just that it's a question of what they call a fungible asset, something that somebody else is going to recognize as having value. I mean, it's different coming up with say a 1964 silver quarter, or coming up with a piece of mahogany and saying, hey, this piece of mahogany is worth, you know, $25 or something like that. Can I get a can of Spam from you guys? And then be like, how in the hell, where's the market price for mahogany? You know, or this, you know, I found this scrap metal over here and this big pile of aluminum. Will you give me a pack of smokes? Or, you know, it's far different than have something portable that's recognized and rather easily accepted and taken. You know, when you're talking about a quarter or a $half or a dime, that's something that anybody can get behind. But that's the only reason it makes it a little more acceptable as something to go with, because it will be known by so many people, as opposed to trading a piece of mahogany or a junk pile of aluminum or something.
Yeah, and it would be after things kind of settled down that that piece of silver would actually mean something.
Yep.
But like you said, that piece of mahogany or whatever it is may not mean anything.
Well, TR, if you're a believer in free markets, which I believe you are, then one of the things that free markets were basically founded on was things like the gold standard and that traditional thousands of years, you know, with gold as a backer of currency. So are we going to go back to what we had with nothing backing except the good faith and credit pledge of the government? You know, is that going to be the next plan? Well, maybe at the point of a gun, but that'll make metals all the more attractive under that sort of regime. It's just what comes after the whole thing collapses and you've had some semblance of trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. What's it founded on? What does the currency get founded on? And it's pretty good bet that it'll be metals.
Yeah, if everything collapses and there's some resemblance of civilization kind of emerging again, the precious metals will always come back. Silver and gold will always have a worth. I won't say worth money. They'll have a worth. They'll have a value.
They will always be a good store of value. Sometimes they get overinflated. Sometimes they get ridiculously cheap. But in the longest run, they are truly the vehicle that best preserves your money. And I know I've told this story before, TR, but I'll tell it again. I call it a silver dime through time. Back in 1929, if you had a silver dime, you would go to a gas station and you could take 2 silver dimes and you could buy a gallon of gasoline, okay, for like 20 cents a gallon, something like that. Well, fast forward to today, it's 2016, almost 2017. You could take those 2 dimes to the coin dealer and probably get $2.50 altogether for those 2 dimes. That's still enough today to buy a gallon of gasoline when you convert those 2 dimes to today's currency. This is what I mean by having something that's perfectly protected your purchasing power over time. The dollar's not done it. The euro's not done it. The Australian dollar's not done it. That's the vehicle that's perfectly done it. It's always found a way to. They might try to build a dam around it politically. They might poo-poo it. They might take you off the gold standard. But you know what? Precious metals always find a way to float to their natural level, no matter what governments do, because they're the only truly worldwide currency that's de facto accepted. So that purchasing power of precious metals is what you're buying. that ability to sustain and maintain your purchasing power throughout history.
Yep, I would agree with that. And I've seen several stories of the same thing what you're talking about. They explained it in a different way, but it was the same thing.
I mean, it's a very powerful thing that you should go and contemplate and think about that a little bit about. Try to find something else that's preserved that power. Real estate does at certain points, but it gives up the ghost at certain points. It was very unnatural to have the rise in real estate prices we had here until things were normal till a Fed came in and Fannie Mae's and Freddie Mac's and FHA's and all that. You didn't have crazy housing prices. Housing was never considered a great investment. It was considered a necessity in life, like a washing machine or something like that. But silver and gold are very, very special, and there's no denying it. As much as politicians hate it and would hate the restrictions of being on a gold standard, and it would tie the hands of the Fed and the Treasury that they couldn't print money willy-nilly, it's just proof positive that the true value will always seek and find its own level in the world.
Yeah, no denying it. I mean, it's just, that's the history of man. I mean, silver and gold have always had value, and as far as I know, it'll always will have value.
But we've seen at points like in 1980 when I remember the lunacy of people lining up with grandma's silver candlesticks outside of coin shops, and the big meltdowns that occurred, and coin shops going out of business because they were borrowing massive quantities of money from the banks as lines of credit to buy silver. And then the Commodity Futures Trading Commission pulled the rug out from underneath the Hunt brothers, and the whole fucker collapsed in 1980 and practically destroyed them. That was a bad investment at that time. That didn't perfectly preserve your capital at that point, and it took a lot of years to sort of attempt to get back to that level again, but it always finds its way back. So even if you're the lousiest market timer in the world, you'll still come out good in the end with precious metals.
Yeah, I think it's the idea that there's a finite amount of it is what keeps it always rising. Maybe not to the top, but at least to a place where there'll always be value in it. It's just like land or dirt. There's a finite amount of that as well. We may see water rights and water in general and things like that, but the precious metals are the easiest thing for you to go out right now, get your hands on, and there's a finite amount of it. And I think that's what's so nice about it.
It's also as people's instinct will come into play that's the thing to grab. There won't be any thinking about what should I get. Whether they're right or wrong in a long term, people will go for that. That'll be the thing that they think about. You want the human instinct working for you. Now, Linda's reminded me of the Hunt brothers. Yeah, this great trading stories. The Hunt brothers is a perfect example of how you can be the smartest person in the world and government can still screw you at the end of the day. Because they were buying up all the silver contracts and all the futures contracts on silver, and all of a sudden the producers couldn't deliver what they pledged to deliver and were short the market. Well, leave it to the govs. The government came in and changed the rules of the game and smashed that corner, and that was the end of it. So government's always there, folks. Yeah, there aren't a lot of coin shops left, huh?
I have one that's on my way home from work, and when I was buying junk, the guy always had a face value price. He was like, well, it's face value times this or face value times that, which was cool because you could take, you knew 4 quarters was $1, and you could take the face value times, let's just say 19, and you knew it was $19 for 4 quarters. I'm not saying that's what it is. That's just an example. But
No,
that
you would just take the the formula is 0.78. There's like 0.78 ounces of silver and a silver dollar, and you would just take a $1 face value times 0.782 times the price of silver, and then a little margin for the dealer. That would be it. So it could be like 1 times face, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 2 times face. It's a great way to buy, Pops. It's the proper way to price it.
Yeah, I enjoyed working with him, and then I got enough of that kind of metal, and I haven't been back to see him. But he's still alive and well. He's still there. I pass him every day. So
yeah,
he was a transplant too from the Northeast. He wanted to come down to where it was warmer. So I think the guy just had a lot of money. I think he's,
yeah.
he's
Gee,
kind
why
of
would he want to get? Why would he want to get out of the cold weather? You know,
in the political and climate. You know, I mean,
oh, that great New England politics. You know? Escape the Kennedys, right?
I had a guy that moved from up north down here, and he told me it was 3 T's, and I hope I don't get this wrong. He said it was temperature, taxes, and temperament. And when we said temperament, he was referring to the people that we were very welcoming to other people. You know, we were like nice people. So it was taxes, temperament, and temperature.
I can see that.
I thought you were going to tell us about the traveling salesman's 2 B's, booze and broads, you know, something like that. Or the old banker 363, borrow at 3, lend at 6, be on the golf course at 3. Right, so I love them. Let's see, you got a good side chat tonight. I'm surprised how many people visit coin shops, since I'm really impressed by that people just make a commitment to stop by once or twice a month and just accumulate. You'd be surprised what you put together. And it also gives you that dollar cost averaging, that you're not going to get the lowest price, but you're not going to get the highest price either. So you're going to build a good average cost for yourself. That's impressive to me. Yeah, Linda says the biggest cultural difference in this country is north to south, not east to west. Well, both sides of that, being born below the Mason-Dixon line and family out of North Carolina and Kentucky, I can tell you there's some nuances in west to east. You have that feeling out west that everybody else came from somewhere else, and nobody really has the dominant, the king rooster position, and not like you get up to the blue bloods of New England and everybody else is a latecomer that wasn't there when the Mayflower touched land, or down south. And
there's no down south out west. That's just
right. Yeah, but there's a nuance of more acceptance because nobody has the whole home turf. Everybody came from somewhere else.
The down south ends right before Texas, and then there's Texas because that's all by itself. But west of that is I don't care if you're south, it's not the South. That's just it.
Yeah, it's almost like its own entity, Pops. I kind of agree with you.
Yeah. Not that there's not some great states out that way. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the South. It's a different thing. That's all.
Yeah, Linda says because Nixon put men on the moon and Kennedy couldn't get a whore across the bridge. Huh? Chappaquiddick. It's funny. We got a lively side chat tonight, I'll say that.
Yeah, I was trying to pay attention to that. It's very difficult, but there's some good stuff going on over there.
Yeah, Martha, that's what you need to do is open a pawn shop. Just make sure you have some big bars and some plexiglass on that.
It's better than Sunday night. I will say that. That comment section was crazy.
Yeah, well, you saw my chat last night, TR. That defines craziness on
Well, all those were at my chat. It was troll Ron my chat.
Oh, you had the Christmas carolers come by. Oh, that's great. Shit.
Hey, but it's all good. Hell, you
It's
know,
all good.
it's
Yeah.
what we do. You
What
throw
you
it out
do.
there. Sometimes you get blasted. Sometimes you don't. You
Yeah,
know.
I always say everybody's welcome until you're not. Like they always say on YouTube, it's all fun and games till somebody gets hurt, and then it's fucking great. I got some weird people out there.
I'm still amazed, and and tell me your opinion, Rosie, because I know you get a lot of trolls. Not that you should. I'm just saying that I know you get a lot of them. Do you think it's their First Amendment right to be able to troll, or is that just their excuse? You know what I'm saying?
Well, Pop. I mean, Tr. My idea has always been, and I mean, I've had some terrible trolling. People calling work and kids and family, and just. But 99% of the people have sense enough to just what I call just needle you a little bit and call you out and stuff. So my chats are always welcome. Unless you're going to start picking on somebody on the panel and calling them out and just pounding on them or something like that, then I just feel like you kind of have a duty to that person to kind of just say, look, take it on your own. You guys handle that on your own or something like that. I don't like to see people get. I have a really thick skin being transgender, but a lot of people don't. So you have to appreciate that. So I had to kind of retrain myself to be a little more sensitive about it. So, I welcome on my channel, as long as they're not, I had one come on one night that somebody gave a link to on my panel, and he came on and kicked everybody off the panel, including me. I had to shut the chat down. Imagine that somebody gets the link to your hangout and they come in and they boot all of you out, and you have to shut the hangout. You can't even get back in your own damn hangout. So yeah, Black Death. Yeah, that was the one. So I believe I'm a free speecher all the way, TR. I guess that's what you were asking me. So, but free speech and threatening are two different things. So
no, my question is, do they truly believe that being in a chat, commenting on a YouTube channel, even if it's not live, do they truly believe that's their First Amendment right?
Yeah, and that's the mistake. Yeah, that's the mistake they made. Because it's your playground, it's your rules. There's nothing free speech about YouTube. It's a corporation. You can't stand up or they'll just beat you down and delete your channel and give you strikes and all that kind of stuff. The reality is, it's the way you set your ground rules. Like last night is what I have. It's called a trollorama. Where you don't get anybody booted. No boots, no blocks, no whining. So everybody comes in and says their piece, and Greg is always my moderator on my chats, and he just stands aside. I know he wants to club some people in the head, but he just stands aside. But that's in the rules of the chat. Now, on a chat like this, I don't think you can have freewheeling and anything goes. And no, I don't think it is a free speech zone. Not at all.
Yeah, that's the argument that the trolls I had that come in Sunday night, they kept coming back in and saying that I was disrespecting the flag because I wasn't representing their First Amendment right. It was their First Amendment right to come in and vulgarly, I mean, just super nasty, vulgar, insult people. And they thought that was their First Amendment right, or at least that's what they said. And I was like, no, this is my chat. This is my channel. And you have no fucking rights here. And either they didn't get it or that was just a game they were playing. I really didn't know which way they were going. If they really thought their First Amendment rights were being violated, which I know they're not, but that was their excuse. They're like, no, it's my First Amendment right. I can come in here and say whatever the fuck I want.
No,
that's my First Amendment right. And I was like, no, it's not.
No way. Nope.
Yeah, the whole leaving a comment on YouTube and that's your freedom of speech thing, it just cracks me up because you come, it's my channel, it's just like it's my house. You come in my house and say that kind of shit and see where you end up. You wish I'd have just blocked you and deleted your comment.
Yeah, you'd be lucky to get off that light, right?
Yeah, not gonna happen. So anyway, it's just that I even had people that I have gotten to know on YouTube, and then you get in a little disagreement, and they throw that freedom of speech thing, and I'm like, who the hell do you think you are? You know. Anyway, it's kind of funny.
Well, I always say start your own chat if you want to do that. You know, so.
Yeah,
I agree with you, TR. It's not freewheeling unless the rules of the chat are such, like a troll-orama, that anything goes on them.
Yeah, I mean, you can set the rules and you can let people do whatever they want. And I've been in, of course, hell, I was in your chat last night, Rosie, in a troll-orama, and some of the ones that was blasting me Sunday night, I had a conversation with them within the comments, and I was like, "Look, you know,
I know
this is Rosie's chat. If she wants to let you talk, that's your business.
I have to say, TR, you're certainly adept at handling your own shit with no problem at all. He fit right in. He got right in the spirit of the troll.
Well, thanks. I don't mind being in there.
Every chat's different. Yeah, every chat's different. But if a troll-orama is kind of a rare thing where you set it up that anybody can say anything and nobody gets blocked or deleted. So look at Hicks like, oh, I miss troll-orama. They're waiting for you to have one, right? One night, TR, they can tell you what they really think about you.
Ain't gonna happen.
I think it's funny that some people
wasn't really offensive. My fucking moderators were blocking their ass as soon as it popped up. It's like, you done fucked up. You done offended. I don't give a damn. You just said, "Hey, TR," boom, blocked.
I only have one moderator, and he suffers like hell on account of me, and and he still manages for 8 months to keep good spirit and everything. So it's funny.
Yeah, some people put their chat link out in the description or the comments.
I used to do it all the time, Pops, until I got shut down that night. I went for 8 months with no problem at all. We went through it last year. We had to do it, send the link, and then everything cooled off. Then the link was posted again for 8 months. Didn't have a problem till a month ago, and then it started happening that they'd pick up the link and they'd come in and boot everybody off the panel, and the moderator couldn't even get back on their own chat.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Automatically closed down after 5 minutes. So.
Yeah, I don't see how you can put that link out there with all the people.
You can't. You can't.
Yeah, you just can't do it.
Gone. Those days are gone again. So.
Yeah.
It was just convenient because it's a pain in the ass if you gotta, sit there and, 50 people want the link and you gotta get diverted to doing that. But it's all good, Pops. I mean. You got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, it keeps it interesting at the least.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I've been involved in many train wrecks. Never put the link in the fucking comments.
Yeah.
or the description, either one. Just don't do it. Go through the trouble to invite who you want to be on. If somebody asks and you wanted them to be on, fine. But you send it privately. You do not put it in the fucking comments.
We all do that now, but boy, it was so easy just to have it periodically posted in the side there. You just post it up and people could get the link. So, yeah, weapons. It's fun. Yeah, I mean it's crazy. I mean, and of course I'm always in the middle of drama and shit, being at Las Vegas, and then Elvis shows up, so you can imagine the trolling I'm under. But it's YouTube, right? I mean, it's compelling watching for people. So, I mean, without trolls, I mean, it certainly wouldn't have the spice it does. YouTube. I'm gonna get something to drink. I'll be right back.
And don't get me wrong. I don't mind somebody having a different opinion or a completely 180 of what I believe. If you want to have a debate, we can have a debate. I ain't got no problem with that. But
yeah, it's like
you just-
people that are dead set on changing your mind. It's like, really, you have that much energy and time on your hands? Come on, man.
when they come up, just insulting right off the bat, when it's not a disagreement, but it's an insult, yeah, I ain't got no, I don't have no time for that.
Or they sneak in with like a comment that kind of baits you into answering, and then they freaking unload on you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is where this is going. So I'll give them the third degree, and then I'll delete and block their comments so they can't even come back. But they can't. I don't know about the new. You notice the new YouTube alert thing on your screen yet? Where you scroll down and it just shows the different comments. It's not like it used to be, but anyway, they can still comment back to you there, I've noticed, which is interesting. But
yeah, they're constantly changing it, no doubt. I can give you a prime example. Somebody just jumped in, Good Neighbors. He made a comment or two on a couple of my videos where he disagreed with me. And we had a couple of comments, just a conversation, nothing insulting. And he actually PM'd me. I don't mean to point you out, Good Neighbors, but I appreciate your honesty. He PM'd me and said, hey, look, I know I disagree with you on this. If you want me to leave you alone, I won't comment anymore. So I PM'd him back, and I was like, look, no, I'm okay with a debate. If you want to debate me, if you want to have a conversation, that's cool. I'm not going to fucking ban you or block you for disagreeing with me, because I'm not right. I'm not always right. I may never be right. I just have my opinion. And he was really cool with it. And I was like, hey, I welcome it. No problem. As long as you don't insult and, just, go for the fucking throat and try whatever, it's cool. Fucking disagree anytime you want. So, Good Neighbors, cool, man. We're good.
all right, cool. I'm gonna go block him real quick. Hang on.
Yeah, for those who were wondering, the 1960 Motorola 21 tube stereo console, I finally finished rebuilding that and refinishing it. I have it set up now with a little bit of a Christmas display. I did upload a video featuring Andy Williams' 1963 Happy Holidays being played on it. You may enjoy seeing that. I think it went up about 4 or 5 days ago. You might enjoy that. So some people are commenting on the old tube stuff, and most of what I have is old tube stuff.
So you actually did refinish the wood on that?
Yep, it's all done. I used some Restorer finish, and it worked beautifully. The walnut, this was made by Drexel in 1960, and for Motorola, and it turned out beautifully. I rebuilt the amplifier, the tuner, and refinished it, and tuned her all up.
I know I commented, I was like, damn, that damn thing was in excellent fucking shape. I can't believe you.
Yeah, you can actually see the whole video restoration series where I bought it for $50, and my Vietnamese friend helped me load it into his truck, and we brought it to the Rancho here and started the long process of rebuilding it. Because I used to have a Magnavox there that I swapped out to the garage to be rebuilt now, a 68 Magnavox. So.
Yeah, those old consoles is what I grew up with. That's what my parents had.
Yeah, all I see is shotgun targets, Rosie. I'm sorry. That's all I see.
That's it, Pops. Lay a few of them up on the hill,
that one wall you got with all Yeah, all that one wall you got with all them. All I see is. All I
Here
see
you go. Here you go, Pops, just for you, right? You
Oh
know,
man,
take your
I see like 20 good shots with some double op buckshot, the
ceiling to
Benelli
wall,
M4.
wall to ceiling, floor to ceiling, right there, with more to come over there behind the wall of
Yeah.
amplifiers. Yeah.
I tell you what. If you donate those, I'll donate the shotgun, and we'll split the money on the viral video. Is that deal?
Could you imagine that? You'd be bigger than Hitchcock 45. Put that up on the hill at Farmageddon. Look, we got Rosie's collection we brought in on the U-Haul. There goes a Marantz. There's the Pioneer. Hey, I hit the damn Kenwood. All right.
I don't know. Sometimes you make the best video and it gets like 75 views. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Sometimes you make crap and you get 250,000. Yep. So.
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I've almost come to the conclusion, just try to make shitty videos and they'll get more views.
Yeah, funny. My moonshining videos have always been the biggest ones, doing moonshining.
What do you do with moonshine? I mean, you make it from scratch?
Oh, yeah.
Drink it,
Oh, yeah. You ever seen my still pops and everything? 25-gallon job. I got a whole series on my channel about moonshining, making ferments and fermenting and filling up the pot, running it.
You can get me a good still out at the farm. I think here legally we can make like what, 40 gallons still or something like that?
This has been a moonshining training ground for 4 years, Pops. It's like you got Farmageddon, I got alcohol getting over.
We may have to put a price on the admission fee for Rosie to get into Farmageddon.
Yeah, bring out a couple cases of mason jars.
Yeah, once I get that Farmageddon name recognized across the globe, I'm gonna start marketing the Farmageddon Shine, and
there you go. It'll be big time,
Yeah,
Pops, and they'll be asking you to autograph it and all that stuff. So
yeah, it's only gonna be like 70, 80, 90 years until that happens. It should be fine.
then you'll have your own show. You'll be like the old man on the Pawn Stars, you know, they're sitting their feet up on the desk. And I remember when.
I already do that, but I probably don't make bank like he does. But I like putting my feet up on the desk. What is it about putting your feet up on the desk? Yeah,
you better be able to handle 180 proof. Yep, when it comes off, 90%.
Damn it! All right. Not too shabby.
I got all kinds of whole series on moonshining. It's called the Moonshining Academy.
When it gets up to that percentage like this is actually brandy, apple brandy, 165 proof.
Yep.
It ain't worth a damn to drink. I mean, I think I could clean an engine with it. Mike could clean a gun, but it ain't worth a damn for drinking. You got to cut this down.
Our proof is so high, you just have a little bit of a burn. There's a little bit of a grain taste. You get that grain flavor. You just pour it over ice, and that melts down a little bit. The proofage drops over 10, 15 minutes, and you just do a little sipping on it. It's really nice. We got some barrel aged
but you got to cut it. That's the
we don't cut it.
We got to cut it.
We drink it straight up, and you either have the white dog, which is the right off the worm, or you have the barrel aged. Because my grandmother, I grew up with a moonshiner on the back porch and stuff, so it's all we ever knew growing up was moonshining out of Kentucky and North Carolina. So gets in your blood, Pops. Like your Farmageddon and moonshine again. I have my own T-shirts.
I need to work on that. It sounds like a fun project.
It is. Nothing like it.
Now, are you still making it, or was this a thing in the past?
No. This I made it for so many years, and just once a year I do a run just for YouTube, and then stick it aside. You know, it was too much. I've fermented thousands and thousands of gallons of ferment pop and hundreds of gallons of moonshine over the years. I just stopped doing it. Just too much work.
Yeah. It's cool though. Good thing to know how to do.
Oh yeah, that's why I said that. That's what I asked TR and Matt. Will that get me onto the prepper squad when the shit hits the fan? They're like, oh hell yeah. You got to have one good skill to get on. You don't have to even fire a damn gun if you can make some good shine to keep the troops entertained when morale is down.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a good skill to have. No doubt about it. I don't even smoke pot anymore, but if the shit actually hit the fan, if you know how to cultivate pot, that might actually be a good skill that we would put you to the side and let you
That's it.
do that too.
Put a gun in your hand and tell you defend your patch too, you know.
Yeah, I think it's still the biggest cash crop on the planet, pretty much. It's got to be. You can actually, you know, get cash for, you know.
I think anything municipal or whatever you want to call it, alcohol, pot, whatever, will always have a cash value as well.
People like to get mellow, you know, even when shit's hitting the fan, they still want to get their mellow time. You know?
I mean, even tobacco, if you could grow tobacco, that would still be a very tradable deal, you know.
I agree. I got some friends on YouTube that are trying to grow tobacco. They're tired of the taxes and shit of cigarettes and all that. And, they want to try being what we call vertically integrated, the whole process.
What about buying one of them little Top-O-Matic machines and making your own cigarettes? Are y'all doing that out there?
Well, I quit smoking 25 years ago. So, 25 years ago.
I don't mean you, but I mean people in general. Are they saving money with those things or no?
Oh, I think they are. Some friends I know are getting 10 cartons of cigarettes worth out of a $14 bag and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how people can afford to smoke. I mean, it's tough.
Ridiculous. New York City's like $17 a pack now. We're going up $2 here now to $7 a pack.
I think they're about $7 a pack here. From what I sometimes I look when I'm in the stores, they're mind-boggling, man. I remember when you used to have them cigarette machines in the corner of the store or whatever. It's 6 quarters would buy you a pack of smokes, you know.
That's right.
Or 4 quarters. It was like 4. You put 4 quarters in there and boom, you know.
Yeah, Greg said he makes his own about $1 a pack of 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still do it. I mean, I buy cigarettes, but I also pack my own too. So it's kind of
good neighbor said the problem is good tobacco is like a blended, you know, a single tobacco by itself. Maybe it's like some blended liquors.
Yeah, but when I was looking at those people doing it on YouTube, they were buying it from companies that were marketing it as this blended tobacco tastes like Camel or Marlboro, or, you know, they would tell you what it most tasted like. I don't know if that's bullcrap or if it's legit or what, but I mean, that seemed like it'd take the guesswork out for you, you know.
It's true. It's true. You can get it. Tastes like Marlboro, Camel, Winston, Lights, menthol, whatever the hell you want. You can buy it, and it's really cheap to make your own. But like I said, it's like reloading. I reload my own ammo, but I also buy my own ammo. So I do a little bit of mix of both. Just whatever's convenient at the time.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I should quit. I know I should quit, but yeah, whatever.
You know,
I just
TR,
don't really care
quitting
to
is
the point.
quitting's
Yeah, I
for
never
losers.
have. I never
Quitting's-
have smoked. Now I've smoked some good cigars over the years. Don't get me wrong, but never really seen the value in a cigarette. Yeah.
Yeah, TR, and quitting's for losers anyway. So
Quitters never win, and winners never quit.
that's right. Yeah, I quit November 1st, 1995. That's when I quit. Keith Greger, where are you? $3 a pack. That seems pretty cheap these days for smokes, actually.
Must be in Mexico.
Maybe Carolina. TR, is North Carolina pretty cheap for smokes?
This is tobacco country, so it's probably about as cheap as it gets down here.
So what is
North Carolina?
What is a pack of Marlboro go for in your around TR?
About $5.60, something like
Okay.
that. Hey, off subject. Those targets you bought from Gil, Pops, if you're still there. Are those standard targets he was offering for 55 a piece? I think he stepped away. All right, never mind. I thought you was gonna wear your elf costume tonight, Rosie.
Yeah, I might wear it in the next chat. I didn't know if your side chat. I'll wear it next week. I just didn't know if they were ready for it yet. So I'll have it next week for sure. So let's see. Mutt says $4 a pack in North Carolina. That's probably as cheap as you're going to get it.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I know I should quit, but yeah, none of us should be smoking, but we do. So it
Good night,
is what
Linda.
it is.
Good night, Linda.
Hey, Pops, those targets you bought from Gil, are those the standard IPA targets that he's offering on his website?
Yeah, it's the same ones he shoots on his shooting videos. And if you look up the IDPA target, like that big paper target that they usually have you shoot at, there's a smaller inner silhouette, and they call that the 2/3 silhouette. So all you have to do is put it the right distance away, and it simulates the target or what have you. I don't really know, but it's when it comes to steel, obviously, because steel is so heavy and bulky, maybe that's why they scale it down. But anyway, nonetheless, it's scale-wise, it's correct. It's just not the size of the big one on paper, and should be a lot more fun. That's all that matters.
Yeah, because I can't say I'm going to do them this week, but here in the next few weeks, I may order a few of them from them, and I got to practice up so I can compete. You're going to have an unfair advantage.
You know what? I might not even bring any guns to Farmageddon. Maybe I'll just sit back and watch everybody. How about that?
Nah, fuck that, dude.
I'm just kidding, obviously.
I'm going to lay down the Glock. I'm going to bring out the CZ. I'm going to bring out the unfair advantage. I'm going to have a CZ clone. Screw the Glock. Yep. I'm done with that.
And kick Rick's ass with that thing. There's a lot of Glock hate going around right now, or maybe I'm just stumbling onto it. But I still like my Glocks, but I love everything else. But I've seen some tricked out CZs, man. I tell you what, that you can trick one of them out just as easily as you can a Glock. I just think that people enjoy tricking out the Glocks because you know it's all been done. It's just easy to do. You got a freaking knife and a couple tools, and you can pretty much do everything to them. You know. So I think that's what it is. And then you get into that rut, right? So once you trick out a Glock and you own a couple, that's it. You're done for life. You're never changing.
Well, hell, I ain't done anything to this, but I can just shoot it more accurately than I can the Glock. And if we're gonna get into accuracy, I'm gonna have to bring out the ZZ.
Yeah, that
And
H&K VP9 shoots way better than any Glock I ever picked up. But I'm not gonna try to trick it out because I don't know nothing about it or nothing like that. But just holding in your hand and pointing it and shoot, it's just a natural, perfect shooter. Period. So yeah, I understand.
yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on the Glock. I mean, this is still my carry gun. This is my carry gun.
I think it's okay to hate on the Glock. If you hate them, I mean, the thing is, I don't really hate any guns. I just prefer others more than others. But
Yeah.
it's just funny how people kind of go off the deep end. It's such a polarized topic. What the hell is it with that? You know, I mean, Jesus Christ, you know.
Well, I own 1911s, CZ clone, a Glock. I own them all. And well, I won't say them all, but I own a very versatile gamut of guns, and I just love guns.
Yeah, and them revolvers
I'm
you
not gonna hate
got.
on any of them.
Yeah. I've told you before, I've done it on video. I'm more of a rifle lover. I like handguns, they're cool and all, but at the end of the day, I like the rifles. You know, I like the M1 from the M1A to the freaking Keltec Sub 2000 and everything in between, and those are about as off as you can get. I just love a rifle in my hands. I love shooting rifles. Not that I don't care to shoot pistols, don't get me wrong, but I prefer to work with a rifle, you know.
That's something, Pops, because I'm like the exact opposite. You know, I love the feel of a pistol, a revolver in my hand. It's just I just don't get the same feeling as when I have a rifle or a shotgun in my hand.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, it's all good. Everyone likes their own thing. I mean,
What
but
makes the world go round.
that's right. That's exactly right. But I do love them all. I'm a gun hoarder too. I love them all, man. Lever guns, friggin' shotguns. If I could buy friggin' bazookas, I'd own them some bitches.
Oh man, that'd be a hell of a Farmageddon right there. Yeah, the news copters flying overhead. I think the invasion's begun, and not where they expected it.
Middle of damn nowhere, it's shit's heating up.
Yeah, the Farmageddon line is still holding. I don't know how much longer they can hold out down there.
All they have to do is stay away. We'll end up killing us.
Pulls out the fucking bazooka. Soon to be a video game. You might be gone, Pops, but you'll be memorialized forever in video game. Like the Alamo.
Yeah.
Hell,
10 angry men.
I've even went through his pistol course with my single actions. I got the record time for that, and I'll invite anybody to try to beat it. I don't even know what it was, but
I don't think it was that bad of a time. I think it was. Oh, you took one shot on target, but you used both guns. I mean, it looked pretty good. I mean, and
it
yeah,
was just fine.
Officially, it is definitely the single action revolver champion. I'm gonna make you a little trophy tomorrow at work. It's gonna be a little block with some scribble on it, but I'll present it to you next time I see you.
Well, that's it. I mean, I just love all guns, whether it's a revolver, single action, double action, semi-auto. I just love guns. I'm not a hater of any of them. I mean, there's some guns that I won't promote, but a quality handgun, I don't give a damn what kind of format it's in. I like it. If you hand me a Colt or a Smith & Wesson or a Ruger semi-auto or a revolver, it's a good gun. I ain't going fucking down it.
I like being able to pick up anything and inherently knowing kind of right away what everything does. Not saying I'm an expert, but I've held them all. I've shot them all. I know how they all work. I mean, so it's cool. Just pick up anything. You can go bam, bam. That's this. That's that. That's how this function is done. You know, kind of. So you get hung up on one thing. Life is boring. You know, period.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you should be well versed in all firearms and not get hung up on a particular style of gun. Because you may pick up one and it's got a slide mounted safety, or you pick up another one that's got a frame mounted safety. And you should be able to look at it in a second or less than a second and know exactly how it works. So you should be proficient in all of them.
Yeah, you should know where the mag release is, the slide lock, the decocker, the safety. Boom, 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 boom. Done. Ready to roll.
Yeah, I agree with that. My father owned a lot of different guns, and I guess that's where I picked it up from. He was just a gun enthusiast, and he bought and sold so many guns. I can't even remember them all, but I was always introduced to new firearms. Whether it was bolt action, lever action, it didn't matter. I mean, he had, Savage 250. I wish I had all the guns that he went through. Savage 250, lever action, M1903, bolt actions. I mean, just
wow. What happened to all them, TR?
he would get tight on money and he would sell them.
Mm.
He used guns as an investment. He bought guns. He always had his own business. And when money got tight, he would start selling them off. And I guess that's where I got that from, is using guns as an investment, because it was quick money that you could get your money back on and make money. I don't know. That wasn't his intention of teaching me, but that's what I learned.
Right on.
I mean, we'd have gun cleaning days, and we'd have like 20 rifles just laid out on the living room floor and breaking them down and cleaning them. And I was like 12 or 13 fucking years old, cleaning guns. And a few years later, he would sell them all, one at a time, which was always a heartbreak for me and him, or at least me anyway.
Yeah, that had to be. I mean, you were going down that list for some great damn guns. I mean, wow, some legendary stuff there.
Yep, and it's weird that I remember the guns that he had. I mean, I remember pistols. I remember every gun he had. I won't say every gun, but I remember most of the guns he had. And at the time, I didn't know what the hell they was. But looking back at it, my memory lets me see the picture in my mind. And I know he had 1903 Springfield. He had Smith & Wesson Model 39 nickel plated. He had all these 1911s, and I mean, just on and on and on. All the guns I remember he had, and I'm like, damn, I wish he hadn't had to get rid of them.
Man, you have a lot of revolvers.
Yeah, he was pythons. He was big on pythons, Colt pythons.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, those would be nice
That's
to
a
have
big.
right
That's a
about
big
now.
piece. That's a big piece of metal. You know that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, Colt Pythons. Smith & Wesson Model 19s was another one of his favorites. He went through several of those, and that's a sweet 357. But the Pythons, he always tried to have a Python, and if anybody knows, I mean,
Yeah, that's a world class piece right there. You know.
yeah, Python is like $1,800 to $3,000 to get hold of now.
Wow. I mean, they're like in there. You don't even see them that often.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'd like to
What do
stumble across
y'all think of? What do y'all think of Rock Island? Rock Island Armory stuff out of the Philippines.
I
Y'all have
only-
any?
I only got one, and it's a 1911 in 9mm, and it's not the best functioning pistol, but I'm going to keep it and keep putting rounds through it and see what happens.
Okay, they got that combo gun, Pops. It's a convertible 9 to a 22 Magnum load, 2,300 foot per second screamer round. I was just wondering if you know anything of the practicality of that. I find it a really fascinating little piece. I wonder if it's worth picking up or not.
I doubt seriously that it functions well with the 22 mag.
Okay.
That's a hell of, I love that round. Don't get me wrong. But man, it's a hell of a round to function properly in a pistol.
Okay.
I'd want to.
It comes out with this ridiculous velocity, you know, on it. So it's just.
No, I just did a test on those rounds going through bulletproof vest, and everyone told me to try it through a carbine length barrel, and I did. And that video is in the queue, so it'll be up soon.
Oh,
and,
good. Okay. Awesome.
Interesting results without giving it away. But anyway, I love that round. I really love the 22 mag, but it's a funky ass round.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you really want a 22 mag and a pistol, I would go with a revolver.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just.
I guess I was kind of drawn to the novelty of that tearaway to a 9, you know, the convertibility for. Usually that stuff ends up screwing up, at, you know, it's just too damn complicated. So.
Oh, Code Boy said that's the TCM 22, which I know what he's talking about. That's a different round altogether. But that still is a big ass cartridge that's neck down like a 357 SIG with a 22 bullet. And yeah, I know Guntucky here on YouTube has one of those TCM 22s in Rock Island. So I know him pretty well. I'll get with him and ask him about it.
Yeah, that'd be good to know. Yep.
Yeah.
22 TCM.
TCM, yeah, and that screams. That's a screaming ass round too. So
yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Okay, sorry, Papa's Place. Yeah, it was a while ago I saw that, and they were, you know, it immediately caught my attention, and I just wanted to know, is it a novelty piece, or does it have any real value, or, you know, is it a piece that gets you in trouble when the time comes? I don't need a troublemaker, you know, some stovepiping piece of shit that's going to.
My personal opinion is stay away from the Wildcats right now. And that's just me. I probably shouldn't even say that, but I don't even know what round y'all talking about, but when you start talking Wildcat cartridges, the availability is so limited, and what it costs to feed them, I just don't see.
It's like a 5.7 or you know, it's a rifle cartridge in a freaking handgun. It's like the 357.
It's really wild looking, you know. It's like I was looking at this thing, I was fascinated, and came close to pulling the trigger on it and buying it. But I figured, you know, you don't know enough about that, so just hang back and get some opinions.
Yeah, price the ammo on it too. Ammo might be. I don't have no idea, but that ammo could be very pricey.
Yeah, even the 5.7 by what is it? 5.7 by 28.
Yeah, the FN round. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the price of buying ammo for that is crazy.
I think it's like 35 cents a round. It's not that bad, but it is bad if you compare it to 20 cent a round 9mm. But you're talking about a round that's comes out of a pistol at freaking rifle velocities. I mean,
Yeah,
you
that's what I
know,
was. I had to ask him to repeat the. I did ask him to repeat that velocity to me, and I really didn't believe it till the guy pulled out something in that document and showed that.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can buy a 9mm at 14 or 15 cent a round compared to 25 cent a round. 9mm will kill a son of a bitch pretty damn good. I'm not saying there's not better rounds out there.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Everything I do is built around that. You know, that's I figure going to be the most commonly available stuff around there for trading and other stuff. If the shit hits the fan.
In general, I would stick. This is just my personal opinion. Stick to the main calibers, 45, 40, 9mm force pistol. That's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong. You can shoot more of it. You can train more with it. But I know there's other calibers out there. Hell, the 357 SIG is an awesome round.
Yeah, Warthog says they make a Glock TMC conversion kit too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just, I don't know. Maybe I'm a more traditional kind of guy. 2 rounds to the chest. I don't really think it matters what the hell it is.
yeah, I don't. It's interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a very utilitarian shooter too. TR, I just don't want any stovepipe. You know, I don't want any mechanical issues at all. When I need it, I want it to be there. I don't need any kind of POS that's going to be a real dick to fire in the dark or fumbling around. So I agree with you. I'm repelled by novelty usually on this stuff. So
For some reason, the 9mm, in my experience, I don't know what it is. I have several 9mm. The 9mm is inherently reliable. I think it's because of the size, the shape, the length. I mean, I have at least 4 9mm.
it's the way it expands. It's probably the way it expands too, and acts when it's fired too. I think has a bit about the reliability, the size. There's some aerodynamic shaping, or I don't know what it is. There is something inherently really reliable about that.
Well, I mean, even in high points, I've heard of people talking about high points being reliable in a 9mm. I think the cartridge size, shape, length, it just makes it inherently reliable.
Yeah, look at the chamber pressure.
Yeah, I've just had the Beretta for about 2 years. I'm kind of anxious to go back and supplement that with a revolver now.
The
I don't know.
9mm is definitely the most popular round on the planet. Sold, I think. I mean, pistol cartridge. So everything's made to function that before anything else, probably market-wise. You know what I mean?
Like I said, I mean, out of my 9mm, they have been the most reliable firearms I've owned. Not saying that I've never had a damn jam with any of them, but I know my Browning High Power never had a jam. The CZ75 never had a jam. I have had a few jams with a Glock, and I got it on camera, on video. But that's the only ones. But the 45, the 1911s, I had occasionally had jams. And I just kind of came to the conclusion that the 9mm was more inherently reliable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would only have giant jams on my 9 if I was using Winchester ammo, believe it or not. I could put aluminum, I could put the standard other brass, but I could not put Winchester. You know, I get like every 50 rounds would do something crazy.
Hey, a little off topic. Did you see where Wolf is making steel case 6.5 Grendel ammunition? It's not going to be long before they're making 300 blackout and 6.8. I mean, if there's a market for it, those fuckers will make it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling the guys on the side chat, a 12 gauge just tears. I'm too small for a 12 gauge. Just rips me to pieces firing a 12 gauge. I've been looking at 18 gauge.
That what?
Yeah, that's right, good neighbors. It's too much. I shot one in Vegas last year, and I paid a heavy price for that. I didn't have any proper padding, and that made me miserable for a couple months. But 18 gauge is more my size, I think.
You mean 20 gauge, maybe?
Yeah, 20. Yeah, 20 gauge. I mean, it's 20 gauge.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, 20 gauge is a
Yeah,
sweet
not 18.
shooting
I don't know what.
shotgun.
Yeah. So I need something I can wield and be effective with.
Yeah, I enjoy the 20 gauge, even shooting skeet and stuff. I love it.
Well, that's what I used to use it for when I was shooting clay and stuff. Was a 20. It's you got to try you got to be proficient on the 12. Well, that ain't never going to happen. So. Yeah, you're right, good neighbors. Too much power for my frame. That's right. But I did fire that. The one that really impressed me, what I fired was the what was that Korean-made Daewoo. Man, that was nice when I fired that. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Daewoo, the Korean 9mm. Man, that was nice. That thing was like silk. I was shocked.
The Ranting Hick was talking about steel case 300 blackout. It is made, but only made per contract and like private contracts and in large quantities. But to my knowledge, maybe Papa's Place out there can chime in. It's never been made available like on the open market, 300 blackout in steel case. I don't think.
It's only a matter of time. I think I'm surprised they went with the caliber you were talking about, Pops. Because I would think the second most popular cartridge for the AR-15 format would be a 300 blackout.
Yeah, maybe they were developing the 6.5 before the 300 blackout became popular, so they had to continue with that and get it done, and they'll move on to other things as they can make money on it as a very fine capitalist would. So that should be interesting.
Yeah. Because you got the 6.5, what is it, Grendel, I think you said?
Yeah, that was the one. You can buy that now on the open market in steel case from Wolf.
And then you got the 6.8, and then the 300 kind of really took ahead.
308, even 308 steel cased. You didn't really see that readily available, and now it's all over the place. So there again, I think they're going to fill all those voids eventually, which is going to be kind of cool.
What do you guys think of Remington for shotguns and the 20 gauge? What do you think about that? Genius Prepper's talking about that Remington 870, and I think that's a pretty legendary kind of build quality today of Remington.
Yeah, nothing wrong.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a Remington 870. I know some people don't like them, but or a Mossberg 500 or a Maverick. If you go with one of those three, You cannot go wrong. It will work.
Good deal.
Yeah, the Remington 1100 shotgun has got the world record of most shots fired without cleaning or a malfunction, and it's
Wow.
24,000 rounds.
Man, that's insane. That's insane.
So,
well, Ranting Hicks has 12 gauge all the way. It tears me up. It just rips through me. The only way I can hold a 12 gauge is like Granny Clampett on the Beverly Hillbillies down low, you know. Just shoot you from my side. That's it. But a 20 is fine.
Yeah,
It's going to be just
nothing wrong
the
with
fact
20
that
gauges.
it's going to take you out. It's not going to be that much of a difference. Yeah, it's a little less range.
20 gauges, you can buy the ammo about the same price as you can buy a 12 gauge. So if you're going to go with a shotgun, go 20 or 12.
Yeah, and sometimes the 12 gauge is cheaper because it's so much more plentiful. But right now they're equal in price. I just bought a bunch of it for, well, hell, it was before last Farmageddon. I bought enough. And it was the same damn price.
Tyler's like, did I really join the chat when Remington is brought up? Yes, you did. Good night, Blue Girl.
Yeah, I got to bail here shortly.
Yeah, we can wrap this up anytime. It's getting at that 2-hour mark. So, any more questions or whatever?
Just get your holiday shopping done. We're down to the 12 days of Christmas.
Yep.
And don't forget to check the AmmoMafia.com for your latest deal alerts.
And pick up a couple toys for some kids and put them in a barrel somewhere and make somebody happy.
There you go.
That's good.
I had to delete my emails because I keep getting all these deal alerts, and I've already bought too much ammo this month.
It's just well,
I'd like to see TR's armory over there with the stuff in that. I'd love to see that.
I think I bought at least 1,500 rounds of ammo this month.
Wow. I think we got about 2,000 rounds of 9mm here.
There you go.
That'll work.
We just pick it up when they have a ridiculous sale somewhere when somebody's having a price war.
I screwed up and I put an app on my phone. I got like Wiki Arms on my phone, and I'll screw around and check it, and it's like, oh shit, 223 for 20 cents a round.
Yeah, that's dangerous, man. That's what you call real clickbait right there.
Yeah, it is. I gotta quit doing it. And there's guns on there too, AK-47s and AR-15s. I mean, yeah. I've seen AR-15s, complete freaking guns for $400.
Yeah, I know.
No, the whole fucking gun.
Man.
It's like, damn it. Okay, quit looking at that.
Yeah, let's see where it goes in a couple years. It could be $150. You never know. You never freaking know.
Really. I think my next gun purchase, I want to do another AK-47.
You
I want to
really
get
love
another
that.
AK-47 and trick it out.
Well, don't buy an AK until you look at that KS-47 real good.
Oh, I've already looked at it. I know.
Now it's a little more money, but it's very interesting.
Redneck Prepper Wiki Arms. Let me type it in there. It's a free app. You can get it on Android. Something like that. I don't know. It'll cost you a lot of money to put that app on your phone because you'll be buying ammo left and right. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you, Rosie and Pops Quest, for coming on here. I'll let y'all do an outro, and I'll start with Rob. Pops Quest.
Well, I won't take up too much of your time. Thanks for having me on, as always. 22 mag bulletproof vest test number 2 with some different results coming up soon. But other than that, just the normal shit over here. So appreciate you having me. Always good to chat with Rosie.
Yeah,
Wow.
thank you. Good seeing you, Pops. And it's holiday season, everybody. Remember the spirit of the season and what it's all about.
Well, thanks, Pops and Rosie, for coming on. I truly appreciate it. And this wouldn't be a Tuesday night with at least some of you here. And, of course, you, Rosie, for sure. It's not a Tuesday night chat unless you're here. So with that, we'll wrap it up, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Thanks a lot, everybody.